The energy that we're in right now is called the push-pull. So that's what we're doing, a little bit of an energy update to understand the dynamics of the push-pull that we're in right now. We actually have so much support that we're unaware of, but we're facing, almost like we're facing off against ourselves. We're having a big dose of reality presented to us right now, an inescapable dose of whatever we've been running from. So what's coming up to the surface right now is a lot of the repressed stuff. That means stuff sitting in the unconscious that's coming up to the surface, stuff that was previously denied. You know this. When we ignore something, it doesn't actually go away, right? I mean, you do know when we as human beings pretend that something doesn't exist or isn't really happening, it just goes into storage. That's what the subconscious is, a massive storage container. But that storage container is clearing out right now. And as it clears out, it's kind of like picking up this big lump, putting it right in front of you. There you go. This is yours to deal with. And then we, the light workers, we, the human beings, we always cry victimhood. Oh, why do I have to deal with this now? Because the pull, remember I said this is a push-pull. The pull part of this equation is your own higher consciousness is pulling you right now. Your own higher consciousness is enticing you. This is the support that we can't even fathom is so involved in our lives. Right here in our personal field, there is a level of support that we could never have even dreamed of before. Didn't even imagine we were able to receive this level of support. That is what's in our reality right now. So imagine your own personal space, like here you are, this is what you see in the mirror, your own personal space. Then imagine the hand of your own higher consciousness. You're a multidimensional being. You exist for all time, through all realities. There is that proverbial hand of your own higher consciousness in your direct field. And it's wanting to do this, right? It's wanting to pick you up by the collar and pull you into your own higher resonance. So how that comes up for you is a feeling of potential, which can be very uncomfortable. Feeling your own potential can be lovely, it can be expansive, it can give you this almost an excited feeling, but it can also give you a feeling of like, oh, I can't do that. A little bit of a shock, fear, deer in the headlights kind of feeling. It can also bring up a sense of unworthiness. It can also bring up a sense of, I'm not allowed that. I'm not allowed those things. I've noticed in my world, all of my potentials, higher potentials, there's the pull, are pulling me right now. My higher potentials are pulling me. Kerry, there's a book you were meant to write this book a long time ago. That's my potential. That's my higher potential pulling me, got me by the collar, pulling me right now. You guys, every time I sit down to write a blog, type a newsletter, I get about one paragraph in and then the book just starts coming. It's almost like I can't even type an SMS to a friend right now. I'm at that stage where the book doesn't just start coming through. So higher potential, how do you deal with the higher potential that's being put before you? I'll give you another example, right? I've just had this interesting idea. That's how potential lands. It kind of just arrives as like a, oh, what if moment, Let yourself dream, by the way. In case you don't let yourself dream, you are blocking yourself from receiving these potentials that your higher consciousness is truly just laying before your feet. So here's another one that's come up for me recently, and this is, my response to this is probably going to make you laugh, but it's really true, and that is, the potential's coming up for me like, Kerry, don't you want to look at immigrating or just living in another country? Like, don't you want to? Aren't you enticed by living a different life somewhere else, a higher life somewhere else? And then as soon as that potential comes in for me, oh man, this is where you're going to laugh at me, because this is where the inner brat comes out. And what is that inner brat? We all have it. The inner brat is our resistance to our own higher healing, our own higher consciousness, because my inner brat is like, no, I don't want to move right now. I've worked so hard to build a house. I have just moved in. I haven't even finished unpacking. I haven't even moved into my studio space. I haven't even, this can't happen right now. This isn't the right time. The inner brat comes out and she starts pouting and sulking but universe, why are you showing me this now? Because this should have been shown to me 5 years ago before I started saving for the house that I'm in right now. No. So this is an idea of a potential landing, and then the very human response of seeing that higher potential with the behavior of a brat. There's no other way to say it. And what if I went and explored? And as I say that to you right now, everything, you might find that a really exciting thing. Everything in me is like, oh, no, I don't want to. Oh, no, I don't want to. Here's another. High potential. Hi, Kerry. This is your 7th dimensional higher self pulling you by the collar. And it's going, Kerry, you could do and you should do. And it's overdue that you go and meet people in person and do big conferences. Go to the US and do it. Go to Germany, my girl. Go do these things. Invite people to Southern Africa. Let them have a waft of this glorious world that you live in. Share it a little bit. Can you imagine the power? Like, we share a 20-minute discussion here on YouTube, and these are pretty cool. In my Plasma Light Tribe, my online community, but that's even more. I mean, those guys really get to see a lot more of the real me. And there we get maybe an hour and a half, up to 2 hours. We do that once a week. That's life-changing. What would happen if we got together for a whole day or 2 or 3? See, potential. That's all that this is. It's like that pull. And then, so now I've shared with you my potentials, only so that you can recognize what it looks like in your world. It's like these little ideas that drop in, and you probably greet it with resistance, or in some cases like a brat. And you have all of your reasons why not, because we're used to doing this. We're used to standing in our own way. We're used to self-sabotaging. We're used to being loyal to the smallness and the patterns of the past. And we're used to just pushing against them. Right now, as we push against this clump of density that sits in front of us, we need to understand why it is here. It is here so that we can clear it. This much density, this mound of density is sitting right in front of us, so that we can, and the potential sits here for us to just clear it as one clump, clear it as one lump, clear it as one big boulder of energy, which would require us, therefore, not to go into analysis, not to go into linearity, not to go into the brain. When the brain tries to intervene with our healing, God, we get it so, well, the brain can't heal you. You know that, right? Your energy can and your heart does, but the brain can think about your healing. It can't heal you. And most of us have gotten so off track, so off path, because we've been trying to heal through the brain. But can you imagine that propensity to analyze, encountering this big clump of density? I mean, the analytical brain's going to have a field day with that. Oh my God, why do I feel this? And where did that come from? And who put that there? And why do I see it this way? And shouldn't I see it that way? Analyze. I mean, 20 years later, you're still going to be analyzing the same lump of density and not having moved through it. So this is not the time to go into the brain. Oh, by the way, I just noticed now, I always talk with my arms. That arm, great. This arm, in case you see, I don't want anybody in the comments to go, oh, Kerry was hiding a bruise. I'm really not. I really do have this. It's horrific, right? This horrific bruise. I'm totally sidetracking now, but I just thought, oh God, I have to tell you. I went to the doctor for a blooming blood test. I know. I know he didn't mean it. Thanks, Doc. Won't mention your name. I know you actually do love me, but that happened because he was drawing blood, and I don't know, something happened in the process. We're doing a blood analysis to check where my iron levels are, and yeah. So if you see my arm flapping about and you notice the bruise, that's all it is. I know you guys, and I cherish that about you, that you're always so concerned about me. But anyway, and no, it doesn't hurt, but it looks like it should. It looks horrible. But anyway, sidetrack. So where the hell was I? Sorry, I sidetracked so properly that now I don't even remember. We were in the push and the pull. That was it, the analytical brain. The analytical brain is the part of us that pushes against the density but gets nowhere. The heart is the part of us that melts the density and gets everywhere. And that's why that clump and lump of density is sitting in front of us right now. It is because we can deal with it. But I must warn you, I cannot give you this information without a warning. Here's the warning. As you push against this boulder, the density, imagine now that it dissolves. And it just, as I said, it dissolves so completely. It dissolves so quickly because we have the propensity to work at this level. And by the way, if you do want to work at this level, there's the details. I'll put them on screen for you now. Plasma Light Tribe, it's calling your name. This is the energy work. Here I can talk to you about the energy work. Here, Plasma Light Tribe is where we do the energy work. Now imagine, boulder dissolved. What's going to happen to you? Energetically speaking, it's kind of like you're going to fly into, almost like you're Neo in the Matrix, you're going to fly into a weightlessness, into a gravitylessness, that feeling of not being bound by the density, because it's kind of like this shackling energy that holds us in the false matrix. So when we don't, we're used to it, so we don't notice it's there. When we don't have it, then we're going to fly up into our world, into our reality, almost like there is no gravity, and we're going to go, what the hell is this? Am I in limbo? There's this very strange, disconcerting feeling, and we'll talk about that at the time, and I'll remind you when it comes that all that you're doing is experiencing yourself as unplugged from the false matrix. That's the Neo moment. And then on the other side is the pull of light, is where you say yes to light, yes to your own higher path that is unfolding for you. It has got everything to do with how much you can receive, how much you'll say yes to, how much you'll allow. Basically, how much you won't stand in your own way and use the very familiar sabotage mechanisms of the past. You know, we've got this phrase or terminology called the comfort zone. The boulder that you're facing is pretty much every comfort zone that you've had all rolled into one. And the cool thing about a comfort zone, when we really think about it, is that it was never comfortable at any point. We called it a comfort zone. What we should have called it is an uncomfort familiar zone, right? A familiarly, what is that word? My tongue does not, familiarly, uncomfortable, discomfort zone. Wow. Okay, there we go. It's that place. When we recognize, I don't actually want that, then we recognize I'm not actually loyal to that story of my past. It's just that that small version of me gets to play himself or herself down, gets to play themselves small. And a small being, the reason that we're enticed to do that is, and the false matrix taught us, conditioned us, programmed us to play that role, is because we couldn't possibly be the powerful beings that we are and then perpetuate the false matrix. Of course not. The moment we step into our power, we cannot perpetuate the false matrix. We then begin to embody the divine matrix or the organic universe that we come from. We then begin to breathe in the divine light codes of our own true nature. We begin to shift into love. And when that happens, because of our affiliation to the false matrix, our connection to it, when we dismantle the false matrix from within us, it ripples into a deconstruction of the false matrix around us. So the false matrix had a very vested interest in always showing us how to be small, how to blame others. Look on the news, see this bad guy, see that bad political party, see these bad people. It's their fault, it's their fault. No, it's their fault. No, it's their fault. So we get ourselves into a tiz wondering whose fault it is and who next we can blame and who we should be blaming. That is all a conditioned trick of the false matrix to keep us locked into a diminutive state, locked into our smallness. So we've become incredibly familiar with that place, letting go of that tendency to blame and seek the wrong in others means that we've got nowhere left to go but to seek what is right within ourselves, to seek the power that we are and that we're daring to become. So there's definitely that energy that comes in right now of daring. Do you feel that? As I share this with you, the push-pull, there's the energy of pushing against the density. There's the energy of being pulled into higher consciousness. There's that neo moment in between. All of this is going on right now inside of you. It's kind of like you're the sacred place where all of this energy meets and where a higher you emerges. That's what this all boils down to. I want to say boils down, doesn't boil, kind of boils up to. If we could just change the terminology, this is what emerges out of the push-pull. It's you in your higher version. It's you in your higher truth. The most powerful thing that you can do is keep doing what you're doing, but now take it a level further and let love in. Remember, it's all about the yes. It's what are you saying yes to? Say yes to that in you that is your own higher essence, pulling you into a higher reality. Say yes to that. It's okay to feel the grief and the loss as you let go of the density, because remember, you're letting go of the familiarity. That's what it is. It's okay for you to have moments of grief while you do that. It's okay for you to have all of your reasons why not. You know, that brat state that I spoke about that we do tend to go into when we're healing out something this big. That's all the self-sabotage and I don't want to do this. It's everything that you go through on your healing journey. It's okay. You can welcome every tiny piece of who you are, how you are. One of the things that I've shared so often with my online community, to the point that it's now a running joke, is sit your bum down. Sit your bum down. Wherever you are, sit into it. Wherever you are, don't try run away from it and avoid. Just sit your bum down. Get into the moment that you're in. But you guys, we don't get to say, oh yeah, I've got to be present with all of this density. I've got to be present with all of this, sit my bum down into all of this pain and all of this discomfort, right? Without being ready to also sit our bum down in the light. We also have to acknowledge and accept that as much as we're here to face density, we're also here to face light. And are we prepared for that? And can you say yes to that? Will you allow that higher alignment that you already are in the higher realms come into your now? I feel like so many of us are going, yeah, like I am so ready to let that in tomorrow. I am so ready for that next week. I am definitely going to be there for that next month. And that's not the option. That's not what's being presented. It is, can you embrace all that you're being presented with now? And then you go, well, how can I? How can I do the push and the pull all at the same time? Well, because you're an alchemist, and an alchemist is allowed to, knows how to allow both energies to be present simultaneously, because the alchemist knows that the higher frequency energy will simply dissipate the lower frequency energy. The lower frequency stuff heals itself out in the presence of the light that we're stepping into. This is the time for energy work. This is the time for deeply divine guided meditations. So this would be a very good hint, hint, nudge, nudge moment for you to go and meet yourself at the energetic level. It's like we meet ourselves every day in the mirror. Meet yourself in your heart, the place where your mirror can't show you. Meet yourself there. And on that note, from my heart, all the way into yours. So much love, so much acknowledgement as I witness you saying yes to you, to your truth, to your highest. Speak to you really soon. Make sure that you've subscribed, ring the bell, leave a comment, give me a like, and go ahead and share this with somebody who you know needs to watch it today. Bye-bye for now.